Again, you saw in the film Trek Trails, what a great resource that we have. Obviously, I'm not going to advocate. I mean, if you want, I'd say put them in, but we use these for a lot of different reasons. Fortunately, I'm able to piggyback on those reasons. We use it for testing our product, but we also use it for really awesome activities. We put in a fleet of HR bikes a few years ago, so people can come out and test bikes, and if you've never been mountain biking, you can come out and use the trails. You can also go for a road ride, or if you have a spouse, our fleet of bikes is available for anybody. Obviously, you can use the trails for mountain biking, but what I use them for is more than that. We do fun activities. Every year, we'll hold some kind of race, we'll give some awesome prizes, and again, have beer at the end. I see reoccurring theme here. In the winter, we can use for snowshoeing or cross-country skiing. Moreover, right now, I'm not sure if anyone's ever heard of fat biking. You've probably seen them, maybe you haven't, these big fat wheels, and now everyone's out there riding bikes all winter now because these bikes can kind of float over the top of the snow, so pretty cool. They're getting used all year round now. Other easy, simple things that we put in place, like wellness reimbursement. So 850 of our employees work in Waterloo, another 400 or so work somewhere else in the US. A lot of them are outside reps, different things in sales, distribution centers. They actually have approached us and said, well, I love all the things you do in your building, right? You have an awesome fitness center, that's nice, but what about us? So we said, all right, well, let's pay you for the fun activities that you don't have here. So doing the right things, like getting a gym membership, doing community supported agriculture, go ahead and we'll reimburse you for those things, up to the tune of a couple $100 a year. Tobacco policy, we take a pretty hard line. So I talk about accountability, and I'll start to get into that a little bit more now. We're pretty strict on this. For the longest time, Trek's been a tobacco-free campus, so you can't smoke there, you can't have them on the grounds. But moving forward, if you use tobacco, you're going to see up to 20% increases in your health insurance. So pretty stiff penalties for people who decide not to quit or try to quit. I'll go back to a little bit more of our history, which kind of give you a better idea of what we were doing. Like I said, we dipped our toes in wellness back in 2005-ish, and we offered up free health risk assessments, which is a simple questionnaire. We just basically said, if you want to participate, you can. That's bottom line. If you want to do it, you can. Any guesses of how many people participated when we just said voluntarily put it out there? It's about 20%. So 20%, and you know who those people were? Our 0% body fatters, you know? The people who you saw in those videos, they're the ones who showed up, right? So we said, all right, well, we can get them all in there. We know how to do this. This is easy, right? We'll just bribe them. So crisp $100 bill if you want to come in and do it in 2006. We figured, oh, everyone will show up for that. You know, why wouldn't you want $100? 60% of our employees. So a pretty good improvement, but still 40% aren't doing it. So after 2007, tragedy sparks our wellness program. We make some pretty swift changes in our programming to really holding people accountable. So what did we do in 2007? Basically, we said, if you don't participate in a biometric screen, if you're not familiar, it's a simple blood test that gives you some risk factors, and do your HRA, which is the questionnaire I talked about, Trek will no longer pick up any portion of your health insurance, and you'll be on the hook for the whole thing. Now, our participation levels rose from 60% to 99%, so a couple of holdouts. And for the last 5 or 6 years, that's what we did. And for some people, that worked. It's an eye-opening experience, and that's really what changed my perception when I started at Trek, was getting my first biometric screening results back. I remember being 25 at the time, always a clean bill of health, and I saw those results and I said, wow, pre-diabetic, pre-hypertensive, if I don't make a change, it's not going to happen, and I'm going down the wrong road. For me, that was enough. For some people, that's not enough, and we've done it 8 years and 7 or whatever it is, 6 years in a row, and their scores haven't improved every year. So obviously, that's not enough for everyone. So we actually said, moving forward in 2014, your scores actually start to matter. It's not just that you did the screenings, that your scores actually matter. So what did we do for this year? We said, out of a total possible 1,000 points, based on those different factors, if you score above 750, Trek will continue to pay the full contribution. Now, if you score below 750, you're going to see some substantial increases to the tune of, $1,200 a year more in insurance premiums. If you are a tobacco user, if you did the math on there, it's $350 if you use tobacco. Obviously, you're going to fall below that $750 mark. So you're automatically going to see increases of nearly $3,000 per year if you're a tobacco user and decide not to quit, or attempt to quit, I should say. So some pretty strict things here and a lot of accountability involved. So I think a lot of people in the room probably think, well, what was the reaction when you rolled this out? People must have been outraged, right? I mean, I think that's what people would think. Surprising enough, we have not seen that kind of reaction. I think in two parts. One, you can see how we rolled it out. Employees got the idea that something like this was coming, otherwise why were we doing this? So they were kind of under the perception that, like, yeah, I figured it was coming. I just didn't know when. The second part was, we have a lot of people at Trek who understand that Trek is self-funded and that we're all in this together. So the fact that your neighbor decides he doesn't want to do anything affects your pocketbook at the same time. So people understand, we liken it to car insurance. If you're a bad driver, you're going to pay more. If you're a bad you have terrible health, you're going to pay a little bit more. Now, the reason why I kind of started to end with this stuff was that I wanted to show you all the things we're doing first before we just show the accountability side. Because it's important that, if you're saying, well, yeah, we're going to do this thing, we're going to be strict like this, but you don't give them the resources to get healthy, people are going to be a little bit upset about it. So the question is, does it work? And again, what do I measure success by? Well, biometric scores are one easy way to do that. And as you can see, yeah, they're getting better. Almost every year they've improved. I remember a conversation I had with my boss, Jen, in 2011, and she sat me down and said, can we get over 800? I said, no, there's no way. We can see where we've been. I mean, we're trending upward, but 800 is not possible. She said, well, what do we have to do? I said, well, let's open an on-site clinic, right? And so we did that. I don't know if it's directly correlated to the 806, but for the first time ever, we actually went over the 800 mark. So I'm excited to see where we can go from here. Again, this is one way to measure success. We are getting healthier. So you probably will ask, what about the claims data? We're trying to combat that with the things we're doing with our on-site clinic, but moreover, we say the same trend that a lot of people do, that there's rising healthcare costs no matter what we do, no matter what our health population is. So again, I talked about, if it's about saving money, you're probably jumping into this for the wrong reason. However, I challenge anybody to bring your CEO, if you are president of your company, come and see Trek and see what that feeling is when you walk in that door, and see what it compares like to when you walk in your doors at whatever place you are at. And if you have that same feeling, then I think you're doing it right. But if you don't, you're probably doing something wrong. Look at the Forbes Top 100 list. Look at any of these successful businesses and see if they do the same things. So as Michael kind of alluded to, that there's a correlation between successful employees and people who participate in these programs.